Hey, welcome. This is Jay Nicholas at the Caddis Fly Shop in downtown Eugene, Oregon. We actually have sound now. Chris is behind the camera. We're going to tie some flies. We're going to speed through it, feature some new materials. So here we go. Hang on. Okay, so this is the fly we're going to tie, and it's going to feature some brand new Bling Rabbit, and it's going to feature some, this is, let me get the name right, Flash Blend Baitfish brushes. Really nice stuff to work with. Also some Helix Flash. I've worked with, I'll get started. I've worked with a lot of brushes over the years, and they have improved, and they have, they've kind of evolved through time. And I've found some brushes more pleasant to work with than others. And I can tell you that these are good to work with in terms of wire diameter and the fullness of the material. So
this is a Snook Tuxedo, I believe.
This is a Snook Tuxedo, and so this Bling Rabbit, this is the Magnum size. It's now one thing I really like to do is I like to cut a taper in the end. And one thing you'll notice that this with this material, the Bling Rabbit, and I also cut a little bit of a taper here to make it easier to secure to the hook. The Bling Rabbit, first thing you might notice is, wow, this stuff is stiffer than non-Bling Rabbit, and that's correct, that's accurate perception. And one of the things I think it does is it gives you the flow, the fuzziness of the rabbit fiber, but it gives it some firmness so that it is, shall I go so far as to say that it won't wrap around your hook?
I would not go foul proof.
No, not well.
It does seem like it's easy to work with as well because of the hide thickness. It's not overly thick, despite having that unique backer.
That's correct. And I don't know how they manage that. Now this is the Helix Flash, and you might be saying, why on earth are you using chartreuse with a black and white fly? Because chartreuse is one of those colors that's really difficult to go wrong with. This is the 1-inch brush.
Back to that Helix Flash real quick. That's sort of a Flashaboo, crystal flash material. It's not nothing to do with Flashaboo really, more of a...
So I would compare it, I would call it a slightly stiffer lateral scale. It's got the holographic type of effect, but it is a little, it's not as flexible as straight Flashaboo. So I like it. Now I've got my little comb, and in theory you put this thing on your finger and use it, but I've never figured out how to do that. But I do. I find I'm using this little brush all the time when I'm using brushes and dubbings. Now, one of the things about this this particular brush is that it can be trimmed pretty easily to have a smaller profile. And this particular pattern is predominantly white. And one of the things I'll note is that my style of tying is to just get one turn across the wire, handy dandy little pliers, and then I'll take my snip. Now some people like to put 2 or 3 winds over first, but I'm good with one. And then but you just have to be careful about how you're moving around your vise, that you don't just knock it off. So here's another 1-inch brush. So I could trim this down and leave this one wide. I could trim this one down and leave the other one wide. you know what? I could do different colors. I could do black and red. I could do,
I think that might be a 2-inch brush.
oh,
Am I wrong?
hi, this is Jay and Chris for the Oregon Fly Fishing Blog, and we are using the 2-inch brush, not the one.
Well, I just want to make sure I was
Oh, yeah.
seeing that, the same length brush, basically.
That's correct. That's correct. And they do make a shorter, and a longer brush.
And these brushes can be used for the game changer fly really nicely. And then you wouldn't maybe need, depending on the size of the game changer style fly, that length.
Correct.
Those are the flush cutters, I believe, from
Yes,
Hareline.
they are.
Really nice.
And they are, if I don't break the glass case here with the reels in it, I'll be probably in better standing here at the shop. Now, you might be wondering, now why is he using white thread? Well, it's because this is what I happen to have. And now I don't want you to start thinking you can do this all the time, because we need people to purchase black and white thread. But in a pinch, you can darken up your thread, because I think it looks nicer. So there we have beautiful, perfect Snook Brush Tuxedo.